Come on in, everyone. Come on in, everyone, because we are back, y'all. We are back to start wrapping up some of these discussions around Love is Blind. I know I'm late. I'm sure y'all have watched the reunion. You probably done already watched several recaps, reviews, but I still got something to say, so I hope you will circle on back with me. I'm not going to try to cover every couple in this reunion because I want to take my time, y'all. I want to let it cook. I really do. I want to get into some deeper discussions. I want to have a chance to express my thoughts, my opinions, and hopefully y'all down below will express yours. This is my catch-up weekend, y'all. So let me tell you, y'all going to be sick of me in the next couple of days. And I'm going to be dropping a lot of videos. There are a lot of shows out there that I want to watch. I'm going to try to catch up. We're going to finish Love is Blind. Hey, y'all, I'm watching this Blue Therapy. I've only watched episode 1, but I gotta talk about Blue Therapy. So, hey, if you haven't watched Blue Therapy, please go ahead and watch at least episode 1. So when I come back and talk about it, we can talk about it. I'm going to come back and do something on Married to Medicine with Quad and King. Yes, y'all have asked me about my thoughts. I got some thoughts. I'm going to talk about it. So, hey, dip and dive with me all weekend long. Come back and check. None of the videos are going to be that long. So y'all can come back and circle on back a couple of times. But first of all, let's get into this Love is Blind reunion. And in this discussion right now, all I'm going to talk about are two couples. The two couples that got married. One that got married and is still together, which are Christine and Vic. And the other couple that's a hot mess and they broke up. Which y'all want to talk about first? You all want to talk about the good news or the bad news? The good news is Christine and Vic are still together. But since they showed them first, let me just talk about them first. First of all, Christine and Vic. Now, dial it back, dial it back, dial it back. I was one of those people when it came to Christine and Vic. I didn't really get it. I didn't get all of the how everybody was just so into them. I mean, I love, y'all. You know, I love. And I just couldn't connect with Christine and Vic. Am I happy that they're together? Yes. Am I happy that they're happy? Yes. But I'm kind of like, I don't feel nothing, which is weird for me because normally I'm just bubbling up inside. And some might say, well, you don't feel nothing because you didn't really get to know them. There you go. I didn't really get to know them, you see. And so they're like a couple I meet on the street. I didn't get invested in them. It's like a couple on the street and they just say, hey, we got married. Oh, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I'm going to be cordial. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be happy for you, but I don't really know you. And that's how I feel about Christine and Vic. I don't know these people. Harpo, who these people, I don't know them. And I'm doubling down on my earlier theory that the reason why Netflix did not show them is because Netflix didn't trust it. That's what I said earlier. A lot of you said, no, the reason why they cut Christine and Vic out of all of the episodes for the most part was because they didn't want to show any, they like to show toxicity. They like to show drama. And I said, well, if that's the case, they would have at least had to tape them first and then realize that they were no drama. You see, because to cut you out of something would mean I first recorded you, right? Which means, hey, I recorded you and we let you come on the trip, but we later found out you was boring. So all your scenes we recorded for you on the honeymoon or wherever else, we just gonna cut them all out. No, Netflix made a decision very early on. They weren't gonna record these people. And you guys want to keep saying it's because they didn't think that they weren't going to be drama. Well, how would they know? How would they know so soon that they weren't going to be in a drama? That's why I'm saying I don't believe that's the answer. And of course, we don't believe the fact that they didn't have no damn money. They just set up here and brought 150 people back for a Love is Blind reunion. 150 people. I know they paid for them plane tickets. So you flew in 150 people, but you didn't have room on the United Airlines for 2 other people on the plane to Mexico. Get out of here. I'm going to double down on what I said, and that is that they did not trust the love story of Christine and Vic. And the reason why I'm going to believe it is because it's kind of close to me. Does it mean I don't trust their love story? No, it just means I don't know their love story. I don't know it. And here's the other thing. Here is the other thing. Did you find out any more about their love story even in the reunion? Not really. Not really. It keeps going back to, I think, what misses with Christine and Vic. It's not what you tell me, it's what you're not telling me. You see, I'm a married person. Some of you are married people. And even if you're not married, you've been in relationships before. And I don't know, when is the last time y'all have ever seen a perfect relationship? Like, I've never seen it. It's like a unicorn. Like, if a unicorn walked past your window right now, would you believe it? And that's kind of how I feel about Christine and Vic. I feel like, well, it's not like I want drama. It's not like I want you to show me some ghetto side or some, fussing and fighting and toxicity. No, but I do want to believe that it's real. And actually, I came away feeling more convinced, like, what the hell is this? I don't even know what's going on. Is it that someone in the relationship is afraid to actually speak loudly or about something they may want differently? You know, I don't know. Have any of you guys been to therapy? Have any of you guys been in conflict resolution? And sometimes one reason why people ignore whether or not they have something to work on is just to say, like, it doesn't, there's no problems, we're perfect. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of the Vic and Christine story. But, there were other couples on here that came back. A fan favorite has always been Tiffany and Brent. And even in Tiffany and Brent, they weren't drama. They weren't ghetto. They weren't toxic. But even in their season, there were parts of their relationship in which they worked it out in front of us. I specifically remember one of Tiffany's concerns was that she felt Brent was too big of a spender. He was buying Louis Vuitton, luggage, and he bought those nice fancy sneakers because he worked for, I think he was like Nike at the time. And it didn't have to be a toxic conversation, but at least it was a raw, authentic moment where someone expressed a little bit of something. It doesn't even have to be concern. It doesn't have to be doubt. It's just on this point right here, I kind of have a different opinion. And the problem I have with Vic and Christine is they have never told us about one moment in their entire time together where they've even had a bit of a disagreement. And therefore, that's why I don't trust it. And when I say don't trust it, it's not that I don't trust it that they can't last. It's not that I don't trust that they can't get married. What I don't trust is that they haven't really gotten into the nitty-gritty of their relationship, right? That have they really covered things, or is it all alike, I'll just do whatever you want, Vic? And when I tell you who I think is laying down the most in the relationship, I'm going to tell you it's Christine. I think Christine is such a selfless giver. I really do. I think she's a really sweet woman. When I hear her speak and I hear them talk about their relationship, a lot of it is coming off as this is what Vic wants, and Christine is here giving him everything he wants. When they talk about how pure and beautiful their love is, pure, right? Pure is almost like unspoiled and sort of like nothing's wrong with it. It's perfect, right? And we know, of course, we know love and marriages and relationships are not perfect, but hey, if we want to roll with that terminology, we can roll with it. And even his comment about what his line in the pause was, even though I can't see you, I see you. What does that mean? That I feel you, that even though I may not know who you are, I know who you are. Girl, I done figured you out. I know that you are a giver. Let me tell you something. Givers out here in the world, people sniff you out. They do. And they're looking for you. They're looking for you. And when they sniff you out, they latch onto you very, very, very quickly. Vic has some very wonderful words. He said, you are a picture of kindness. You're so kind to me. You're so loving to me. You're my ride or die, right? So everything sort of being framed in the way of what Christine sort of does or gives to him. And then when they asked about Christine, what was some of the best parts of their marriage, she said for her, he don't even really have to do nothing. She just got to walk in the door and see his face. So she has to be kind, loving, ride or die. And Christine's level of being happy is he ain't even got to do nothing. When I walk in the house and he's sitting at his desk working, all I got to do is sit there and look at him and give him a kiss and I'm happy. Okay, Christine, you don't need nothing, Christine. You don't need nothing. Nope, nope, nope. Even when they press Christine and say, hey, Christine, how did you feel about the fact that, Love is Blind didn't even cover your relationship and going to Mexico? They didn't cover you from day one. Christine says, I'm okay with it. You are? She said, yeah, it all made sense. How does it make sense, Christine? It doesn't make sense to anyone, Christine. Why, Christine, why can't you say it doesn't make sense? Why can't you say you was disappointed that they didn't cover your love? Why can't you say any of that? What's wrong with saying that you were disappointed that they didn't cover it? Now, maybe you weren't, but once again, this just feels like another way of glossing over something that didn't quite go right. Once again, it feels like Christine, like everything's just good. I'm willing to give up anything that I want. I mean, you came on Love is Blind to meet your husband, which you did, Christine. But in that, are you saying you don't feel no kind of way that you just got discarded from Love is Blind? Love is Blind basically discarded y'all and told you you wasn't worth a plane ticket and a film crew to Mexico and you don't have nothing to say about it? Nah. She says, oh no, all my friends told me that, it makes sense and we're just too boring be too boring to be on reality TV. So now you self-deprecating, you calling your own self boring so that Love is Blind can be in the right. See, I'm just getting a lot of Christine giving up of herself, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm getting it. Christine and Vic, where did y'all live? Because you was living in Columbus. He was living in, he's living in Columbus, you living in Cleveland. She said, oh, I packed up and moved to Cleveland. How far is Cleveland from Columbus? I don't even know my geography. Y'all, I don't know the Midwest. I really don't know the Midwest. Let me see how far it is. Google, what is it? It's Cleveland to Columbus. How much did she have to give up to move to Vic? I want to know. Is it 30 minutes? 2 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, that's a move. That ain't a commute. So moving from Cleveland to Columbus don't allow you to commute. You got to move. You got to move. And if you ain't working from home, you got to get a new job too. Okay, so there you go, Christine. Christine said, no problem. No problem. I'm willing to move to my man and do whatever it takes to be with my man one more time. I know she was a speech pathologist, so maybe he found her a job at Ohio State University, because isn't that where he works? Is he at Ohio State or Ohio? One of the two. But she said, he said, ooh, she make a home. Great. How did she make a home? Is it just by her being there? Is it just by her being there, Vic, that she make a home? He said, no, it's for what she does for me. Oh, okay, Vic, what does she do for you? She put notes on my computer. She always giving me nice, kind words to pump me up. Okay, Vic, Vic, what you doing? What you doing, Vic? I want to make sure you taking care of Christine too, because right now all the conversation tends to be about what Christine is doing for you, how she's moving to where you are, how she's putting notes. Christine. I know Christine told us earlier on that one of her problems in relationships was that they like her on paper, but they don't really know who she is. Go back and listen to the line. I never forgot her line, because I always want to know what has prevented people from finding their person on Love is Blind. And Christine told us out her own mouth, they like me on paper when they first meet me, but they don't really know me. Do we know you now, Christine? Because right now, Christine, I really don't know your likes, your dislikes. And am I entitled to it on general purpose? No, I'm not entitled to nothing, but they're on a television show. And on a television show, an audience wants to be brought into their lives. And a lot of you may think, well, we weren't brought into their lives because Netflix didn't film it. No, 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 no. That's not what I think happened. I think Netflix pulled the plug because they weren't letting us into their lives. That's what I believe. And I think Netflix said, I'm not going to do this no more. I'm not going to keep. It's like somebody saying, they weren't invited to Mexico and everybody complained and said, why didn't y'all invite Vic and Christine to Mexico? That was jacked up. And Netflix is saying, well, they wasn't really giving us nothing. When we was watching them, they wasn't giving us nothing. So we didn't invite them. Period, point blank. Not because we wanted drama. They weren't giving us anything. That was jacked up. Y'all should have invited them. Great. We invite them to the reunion. We give them the first segment. And do they really give us anything? No. No. See, that's like saying, hey, why didn't you invite me to your party? And I'm thinking, is she going to really add to the fun or is she going to be a stick in the mud? And then finally go, that's fine, girl. I'll invite you to the next party. And you invite her to the next party. And then once again, a stick in the mud. See? I don't want to be cynical, y'all. I really don't want to be cynical. And like I said, I want them to make it. But I just hope Christine develops more courage to talk about what she wants. She said they spent Christmas in New York once again. They went to Vic's hometown because Christine said, my family's close. We ain't got to go visit them. We went to New York. Okay, Christine. Then what else happened? Oh, the other part. I found this really odd. So Christine told us, Christine told us that she really didn't like her mama. She said her mama was toxic. She said her mama ain't gonna never change. She told us that at the very, very beginning of the season. All of a sudden, we see the mama and she's the best thing since sliced bread. And I remember saying, oh, y'all, what happened? How all of a sudden is the mama is so wonderful when the way Christine told us originally was her mama was toxic, she ain't gonna change, and she had a horrible childhood. Now all of a sudden the mom is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm thinking, Christine, what's going on? I'm confused. What is the truth, Christine? Then Christine talks about her daddy. She didn't like her daddy either. She talked about how she had a heart of unforgiveness. She hasn't forgiven her dad all these years. It's been years and years and years since she hasn't visited her dad or forgiven her dad. And all of a sudden, we find here Christine all of a sudden has forgiven her dad. How? What did you do, Christine? We want to know how. You know how many people out here are dealing with unforgiveness? Christine, we want to know how all of a sudden you were able to forgive your dad just that fast. And you know what she told us? Oh, because of Vic. Vic? What did Vic do? Is this just another way, Christine, for you to please Vic? Because Vic doesn't want you to have any anger, animosity in your heart. So you just basically said, that's fine. To please Vic, I'll just forgive my dad. It's all coming off not genuine, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It's all not coming off genuine to me. I just hope Christine don't have no break later on, right? I just hope that, it's been a year now, so they seem like they still going strong. Maybe I'm all off base. Maybe I'm worrying too much, but I can't unsee what I see. I really can't unsee what I see. So, but hey, even in the scheme of things, it's a win. It's a winning couple. They showed all the winning couples coming back here. It was good to see so many winning couples. Winning when I say couples that are still together. And this ain't even counting Love is Blind from all the other different countries, the UK, Brazil, and all these other places. But we had to flip on over and watch the disaster of Jordan and Amber. It's a disaster, a complete disaster. And let me tell you something, the way that Amber has taken zero accountability for her even being on the show was ridiculous. And Emma ain't no friend of Amber's. Emma got on here and said when Amber first got on the show, she was a man hater. Friend of mine, don't you ever introduce me like that. Don't you ever introduce me like that or no one like that. That's like when you came from something and maybe you're not that anymore, Do you really want your friend blasting to the whole entire world how you used to be a man hater? Even if it's true, Emma, we don't need you to talk about that, right? And honestly, for a woman to walk around talking about she's a man hater, but still want a man to like her, ain't nobody gonna like you, Amber. Okay, people not gonna trust that you no longer a man hater. Who would trust that? Ladies, I know my audience is all ladies. Let's say you met a man and he confessed to you, I used to hate women. I really used to hate women, but I like them now. Would you be excited about getting to know him? No. So the fact that Amber says she's a reformed man hater, I don't believe it. I think she's still a man hater. Let's really be honest, Amber. And let's go back to my original thoughts. Because what I like to do is go back to what I originally thought, figure out, was I wrong? Was I off base? Am I changing my mind? And I'm not changing my mind about Amber. And what I said about Amber was, one is she's toxic. She got problems. She don't like men. And what I said about Amber was Amber never wanted Jordan. Okay. And at the time I said she wasn't even gonna marry him. That's what I said. I said she's not gonna marry Jordan because she just said, when she was talking about what she liked, she said she didn't want no fat man. And as much as I like Jordan, I think he's kind and sweet. He's fat, and ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it at all. But I know she didn't like that. So now I say, well, why did Amber continue to date and be with Jordan if a lot of the parts about Jordan, she's a man hater. She don't even like men. Why is she even here? And two, she don't like no fat men. And what I've come up with is Amber was looking for a daddy for her daughter. Because even in this breakup, Amber phrases all of the hurt around their breakup around Emma. Emma. So when I was sitting here and saying, first of all, Amber shouldn't even be on the show. Why is a woman with a child on the show? I think that is way too much risk, way too much harm to put a child in. It's a very bad position, right? And I'm thinking, why would a mother do that? Why would she risk that? Why would she would risk it if she were really desperate to get a father for that child? Some of you might think it's because she's desperate to get a man for her. No, because Amber did not choose Jordan as a man for her, because if she were choosing a man for her, she wouldn't have chosen Jordan. She chose Jordan as a father to Emma. That's what she was looking to do. So now all of this breakup, everything around what didn't go right is all surrounding Emma. All surrounding. Amber still don't like men. She don't like them, but she still want a daddy for Emma. She does. I know Emma's father is still in her life because Jordan met him. But whatever he is, whoever he is, he's not the father that Amber wants for her daughter. She want another daddy. And that's what she looked at Jordan as. And Amber says he really wasn't ready for marriage because he wasn't ready for Emma. There you go. Was he not ready for marriage, or was he not ready for Emma, Amber? I think what you're saying is he wasn't ready also for Emma. He wasn't ready for the responsibilities to become an instant father, right? You see, he wasn't ready to move from where he was in Columbus to where she is in some place called Mount Vernon. How far is that? They said an hour. Let me Google it. You know, I'm going to Google everything. 1 hour drive, 53 minutes, 1 hour. Shoot. Let me tell you something. 53 minutes in LA time is equivalent to, could be 2 hours. I don't know if they got traffic out there, but anyway, Google says only an hour away, but it's 53, not minutes, 53 miles. That's a long way, actually. That's a long way to be commuting every day to work. And Amber felt like, well, you should do it because we got to stay near Emma's school. We got to stay near Emma's school. Like I said, Amber was looking for Jordan to be a plug and play. A plug and play, right? We have our life. We have our house. We have her school. We have everything. You're not really the guy I would choose if I chose a guy in terms of looks or what I wanted. But you would do to be Emma's father because you actually have really nice qualities about you that I would want you to be Emma's father, right? But Jordan found out that Amber got a lot of problems. He found out that the fact that Amber's relationships have ended badly, it ain't all the men. Because he said we went to 5 weddings. They only was married. They was only together for 4 months. I mean, I'm over here blaming Amber trying to get Jordan just to be a instant dad. And I'm wondering, did Jordan choose Amber just to have a date for these 5 weddings? 5 weddings in 4 months? Shoot. But he said Amber got to them weddings and she was drunk. She was falling out. She was cussing him out. And he said he was the best man and he was utterly embarrassed. He had to put her in an Uber and get her home because she was going to try to drive drunk. Uh, the type of points that Jordan was making about Amber, I think in the end, Amber didn't have too many people that didn't understand and have empathy for Jordan. I think Amber was thinking that she could flaunt the little girl in front of everyone, and we would all be saying, yeah, shame on you, Jordan, for coming into a little girl's life and then abandoning her. And we would all be looking at Jordan like that. But, in the end, when you talk about protecting your daughter, the primary responsibility would have been for Amber to protect Emma. It's not primarily for Jordan to do it. So if she were really trying to protect her daughter, she should have never been here. Period. Point blank. I'ma say it. She should have never been on the show. But Jordan, he was very articulate in his descriptions and he was very to the point. And he said that she crossed a lot of boundaries. She was disrespectful. She likes to scream and holler. She likes to have erratic behavior. He said this was not good for my mental health at all. And, instead of Amber taking responsibility, she deflected every moment. And every time I feel like Jordan made a good point, all Amber did was take it back to Emma. Well, when you left, you didn't even say goodbye to Emma. Emma was over here talking about let's make a memory box so that you will come back. You see what I'm saying? As if it's all Jordan's fault. Well, did you tell her how you was face down, ass up, drunk at a wedding, embarrassing him? Did you tell Emma that? You know what I'm saying? If you want to be honest, or are you creating another man hater in Emma? What's going on, Amber? Girl, don't be transferring this to your daughter. Don't be transferring this experience to your daughter so she believes that it's all her fault or women's fault. I mean, all man's fault, and the woman doesn't have any responsibility for what they did. She tried to say that Jordan is a good guy. I know she is because that's why she chose him. She chose Jordan to be an instant dad. I'm going to say it right now. Do I believe that there was some level of love for Jordan? Probably, but it wouldn't have been the man she would choose. No, after she saw him, I cannot unsee the facial expression I saw of Amber, and she was not attracted to him. But I think what she did was she would do whatever she needed to do in order to bring home a daddy to Emma. That's what I believe. But hey, that's all I got to talk about for these 2 couples, the ones that actually got married but didn't make it. But I'm going to come back, y'all. I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about all the other couples. But I'm going to do that on my next video, part 2. So I hope y'all will come back. I'll talk to you later. Bye.